Good morning, everybody. Welcome to WildEarth Live at the Waterhole with myself, Chad Hobson, and I'm going to be your naturalist for the show today. I hope everybody is having a cracker of a Thursday morning, and hopefully it's just going to get better with us. Yesterday was quite an exciting day, being World Zebra Day, and we started off here at Jamala with some zebras. Just a reminder to everybody that this is also a live and interactive show. So if you would like to interact with myself, please head over to the WildEarth website where you can subscribe and send through your questions or comments. Or you can join the conversation on X using that hashtag WildEarth. Does look like it's going to be another hot day up in Madikwe. Just by looking, there's not too many clouds in the sky. Seems like the sun is shining, so I'm sure it's going to be a great show. Hopefully the zebras don't think that it is still World Zebra Day and we're only going to get zebras. I'm sure we're going to get a lot more coming down towards the waterholes. Michael Hadley is saying it looks like the beginning of a nice day there. It does look like a good day. I'm sure all the rangers up in Madikwe had a great morning safari, and now I'm sure they're back at the lodges, tucking into some brunch. Caitlin Boss is saying that it's very hot for you in Australia, 45 degrees Celsius. Goodness me, that is extremely hot. So I do hope you are indoors with the aircon on, whether you're at home or at work. I don't think it's a good day to be outside in the blistering heat in Australia. Well, speaking of blistering day in Australia, why don't we have a look at the weather at all our different locations? So it does seem like it's a good day all round, and Okuguya seems to be quite hot today after that rainstorm that they had yesterday. And then it does seem like at some points it might rain in and around the Juma area, as well as the Bululi where Rosie's pan is. So we'll just have to see what happens. Joanna B saying, yeah, zebras. Zebras are always awesome to see. They're such stunning animals. And you're saying that it's 1:04 a.m. for you. Not too sure where you are in the world, but thank you very much for tuning in, even though it is early hours of the morning. We do appreciate your support. And thanks for sending in all your comments. If you do have any questions or comments regarding safaris, please do send them through. I'm happy to discuss anything that you might want to in the next couple of hours. So I was just speaking about Okagoyo up in Namibia. So why don't we head over there and see what the day brings us? So it does still seem like there is quite a lot of cloud cover here at Okagoyo in Namibia. And it actually looks like it is raining off in the distance there to the left-hand side. So maybe there's going to be another storm, but I'm sure all the animals are happy with that rain. I mean, this area up in Namibia probably gets somewhere around 300 to 350 millimeters of rain per year, which is not a lot at all. I mean, somewhere around Juma, they probably receive somewhere around 1,000 mils of rain annually, which is, I mean, almost triple the amount here. So every millimeter of rain, I mean, Etosha, they're grateful for. I did turn on the dam cam here at Okagoyo last night, and there were some rhinos that came down to drink. I know a lot of the viewers were telling me how they come down to drink in the evenings, and I decided why not switch it on and just have a look, and it was quite incredible to see.
This is On Safari. In this particular case, it looks like he's made a coalition with his sons.
I'm sure this afternoon is going to be a fantastic drive, as always.
Now remember, this is live and interactive, so we'd love to hear from you.
Joanna B, thank you very much for your generous donation. We do appreciate that, and it will definitely go a long way for the channel. So thank you very much. I do appreciate that. GCJ, thanks very much for your support. I do appreciate that. You say that you're watching from a cold and gloomy Fulham at the moment, so thanks very much for watching and sending through your comments. Hopefully, you'll be back in South Africa at some point and back to sunny South Africa. Um, you're wondering how many lions in Madikwe Reserve. So I don't know exactly how many lions are in Madikwe, but I do know that there are 6 different prides of lions. And so, I mean, the lion prides, they can range between, I mean, a lion pride can be 3 or 4 or up to even 20 different lions. So it all just depends. But if there's 6 prides, I would say probably somewhere around um, 60 lions within Madikwe. I mean, Madikwe is a huge reserve, so they're able to have quite a lot of lions within that reserve. Jabani, you're saying that you would love to see the rhinos at night at Ukuguyo. I think explorers might be able to watch 24/7. Not sure. I think you are able to just log in to the dam cam here at Ukuguyo. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe if there's specific times that you are able to watch, but I'll maybe do a little bit of investigating on that and then get back to you. So Jabani, apparently you are able to watch the Okaguyu dam cam, even if you are not an explorer. So maybe just try log out and log back in at some point just to see if you can maybe open up that camera. But it definitely should work. So it looks like now the rain has started to come in here at Ukugoyo, and it's quite incredible how quickly it's happened. I mean, it looked like the rain was quite far away, and now all of a sudden it's right here. So we're gonna just enjoy this rain for now, and I'm sure the animals at the other locations where it is nice and hot, they are gonna come down for a drink. So as this rain does start to fall here at Ukuguyu, we're gonna head over to Juma and see what's happening. So it does seem like it's a little bit clearer here at Juma Private Game Reserve up in the Sabi Sands. Where we are with our two hippos. You see the youngster just in front of the mom there. Does seem like it is a little bit windy up at Juma. You can see the water is moving quite a lot, so it would be quite incredible if we were able to see this mother hippo and her calf come out of the water. I just want to say quickly a massive thanks to all my supporters in the UK that are watching. Ben Needham Clark, Hayden Usher, Dylan Hobson, GCJ, thanks very much. I do appreciate your support and sending in all the comments and questions. I'm glad you're getting a little bit of a taste of home from all the way in the UK. Joanna B, you're saying that it was fun watching the hippos tussle the other day. It is always incredible to see two animals interacting. I mean, especially hippos when they open their mouths extremely wide with those massive teeth of theirs, they can be quite intimidating. Really hate to have to fight off a hippo. Not something you'd like to come across. Ben Needham Clark is saying a very mooi siakui. So for everybody wondering what that is, a siakui is a hippo in Afrikaans. So basically translated into a sea cow. But I think they are a lot more dangerous than a lot of people might expect. I mean, you sitting on the edge of a waterhole looking at a hippo, you think that they are very placid animals and relaxed, but if that hippo does flick that switch and get aggressive, they do kill the most people within southern Africa every year. So you always have to be a little bit wary of hippos. You can hear in the background that there's quite a lot of red-billed oxpeckers. Actually, one has landed on the back of that hippo. But there's lots of oxpeckers that are calling around this waterhole. Maybe if we can zoom out a little bit and just scan. You never know what might be coming down to drink. And often red-billed oxpeckers will sit on things like herds of impalas, wildebeest, even giraffe, or maybe even a big herd of buffalo. That would be quite incredible to see. Kel, you're asking, will these hippos spend their whole lives in this water body? They won't. Apologies. They won't spend their whole lives within this waterhole. Often hippos will move around. So, I mean, this might be. They are territorial, so they will be territorial over this waterhole. But it might happen that another bigger, more dominant male might come into the area, and he might then chase the younger male away, and so then he'll take over this waterhole. But often hippos will also move around. I mean, if there's another bigger water body there's got a lot more food availability and things like that closer to them, they might then also move to a different waterhole. Or maybe if that male's trying to get some more females in his pod, he might then move with this female and the calf into a different area and go and see if he can expand his pod. There are often waterbuck and kudus and impalas and things like that that do hang out here around Djuma Dam. So we're just having a good scan around and see. We've been speaking a couple of the days about lions and things like that, and I'd really love to even see lots of vultures sitting in this beautiful dead tree that we've got in the center of the screen there. I mean, if that big pride of lions, the Nkuhuma pride, that often spend time around Djuma, kill something like a buffalo within this area, you'll then often see lots of vultures perched in these trees and things like that. And those lions may even come down to the waterhole to have a drink. How incredible would that be to have those lines on this damn cam? So we're now back with the hippos. We've had quite a good scan around the waterhole here. It doesn't seem like there's too much happening right now, but within the African bush, anything can happen. I mean, 1 second you might be sitting at the waterhole with nothing around. Next thing, a herd of elephants comes around to drink. Might hear some alarm calls, a leopard pops up. So we never know what's around the next corner. Javan, you're saying that you had to be escorted back to your room at night by security at Chovy because of hippos coming out of the water. The that area around Chovy, it's pretty incredible. The amount of hippos and animal movements in that area. So rather be safe than sorry. A lot of guests and things like that wouldn't know how to handle a situation if they had to come across a hippo at night. So that's why they often have security walking you to and from your rooms. And a lot of lodges do that to make sure that you don't get lost, but also just to make sure that you arrive back at your room safely.
We are bringing you a new and improved fan favorite. We have unearthed the finest gems from over the years in our archives to give you hours of amazing entertainment. Hop on the largest safari vehicle in the world and revisit the best of WildEarth with epic moments from eco-training Pride Lands, memories from Madikwe, and more. Reconnect with your favorite naturalists and animal characters with the best of Safari Live. WildEarth, connecting with nature.
So it's been quite incredible to see these hippos. They haven't been doing too much, but let's head over to Jamala and see what's happening there. So we are welcomed here at Jamala by an elephant bull that's come down to drink. Hayden Usher, thanks very much for your kind words. I do appreciate that. Hayden saying that he has to jump off for a meeting, but I hope you enjoy the remainder of the stream with the talented Chad Bird, knowledgeable, and his voice is so soothing. Hayden, thanks very much. I do appreciate that, and hopefully after your meeting you're able to jump back on and see what's happening live at the Waterholes. So, Cal, you're asking, do you get super tuskers in SA? So, Cal, to be honest with you, I'm not 100% sure what a super tusker is, if there is such a thing. But I know that I'm just checking what a super tusker is. And a super tusker is a elephant that's tusks weigh over 100 pounds. So, I mean, you can call them super tuskers or tuskers, but we do indeed get them in South Africa. So the two main areas where you would get to see tuskers in South Africa would be one in Kruger National Park. There's often quite a lot of big elephants in that area, and then as well as Tembe Elephant Park in the northern parts of KwaZulu-Natal. And that's actually where a lot of the first tuskers were found, up in Tembe Elephant Park. And a lot of those elephants up there have that gene in them where their tusks grow extremely big and long. This could get a little bit interesting. Have a look there. You can see there's another elephant bull coming down to drink. Let's see if they maybe do greet one another or have a little interaction between one another. So you saw the small little interaction between these two elephant bulls. I mean, you can see the one that's now closest to the camera is a lot smaller. So it almost looked like it was a bit of a respect, like, hello, I'm not here to harm anybody or anything, and then they just moved around one another. Quite incredible to see. I really do love seeing animals interact with one another, whether it's the same species or even different species. Something like a wild dog, to see like wild dogs and hyenas interacting is something extremely interesting to watch. And somewhere like Juma in the Sabi Sands is a great place to see interactions like that. Seems like this elephant's now taken a bit of a relaxing approach, leaning up against this tree in a little bit of shade. I mean, often elephant bulls like this won't sleep or lie down. Often what they do to take a little bit of weight off their feet is they often will lean up against trees, such as this one here, just to relieve a little bit of weight off their feet. But also these elephants will use trees like this as a rubbing post. So what they'll do is they'll go up and scratch themselves. I mean, maybe they've got an itch, but also to try and get rid of any ticks. I mean, elephants, they've got lots of little folds and things like that in their skin. And so you can imagine it's a nice warm place for a tick to go. And red-billed oxpeckers don't land on elephants just because they often get swatted off with that trunk of theirs. So elephants have to find other ways in order to clean themselves. Here you can see he's enjoying a nice scratch. Greg on Safari is saying, I've seen someone's car get used for similar reasons. I've also seen a couple of videos of elephants getting quite close to vehicles and using it as a bit of a rubbing post. And I can only imagine that must be one of the scariest things ever, to have a 5 or 6 ton elephant leaning up against your car that probably weighs maybe a ton and a half. Can be very scary. Just counting those Egyptian geese, the goslings, and the other day when I first saw them, there were 6, and there are still 6 of them that are surviving. So that's nice to see that they've been keeping themselves away from any predators that might be around. Hey, Forty, you are wondering, do elephants ever birth twins? So there have been cases of elephants giving birth to twins, but it's a very rare thing for elephants to have twins. I mean, you can only imagine a elephant when it's born is probably somewhere around 120 kilos, which is probably 250 pounds, maybe a little bit more than that. And so you can imagine having 500 or 600 pounds inside of you and trying to birth that, it would be quite difficult. But there have been cases of elephants giving birth to twins. Cal, and the main predator for these goslings would be birds of prey. The small little raptors that might be hanging around the waterhole. I've seen brown snake eagles before hunting the Egyptian geese goslings. definitely be you. I'm wondering if the males have anything to do with the raising of the little ones. They do. So Egyptian geese are monogamous, so they're partners for life. And you'll often see male and female together with the youngsters. It's not like a lot of other animals where the males will come to mate and then leave. Um, but the other day we did actually see the male and female together with the youngsters. So you never know, maybe that male's out somewhere else looking for food, but I'm sure he will come back. If we do get a chance, we will pan around a little bit and see if we can maybe see that male.
We all know the struggle of finding the perfect gift. But what if you could give them an unforgettable experience? Something truly extraordinary. Introducing Nature Eye. Fly a real drone remotely at iconic locations, witnessing the beauty of nature like never before. Sign up to be an explorer and you could win one of these experiences yourself. Visit natureeye.com today.
Let's go see, maybe that other elephant's gonna join in the shade. Doesn't seem like that tree is giving too much shade. And maybe these two are gonna join and form a small little bachelor herd. You can see the younger one has stopped a little bit. Just checking if the bigger one's gonna allow him in. Seems to be happy enough to share a little bit of the shade. Victoria, you are asking if is it possible they become friends and make a little bachelor group? For sure, it is definitely possible that these two elephants will join up and create a small little bachelor herd. The thing is that they're not competition to one another when there's no herd around. So when they are by themselves, can be very placid and relaxed with one another. But as soon as one of these elephants comes into must and is ready to mate and wants to go and fight for females, then that can be a bit of a problem. That's when the one that's come into must might push and shove the other one out. But for sure, for now, they definitely could join up. Dan from the UK, good morning to you. Broken tusks, they will still grow from the root. So the tusk is an extension of the tooth. So the tusk won't regrow at the end where it's broken off, but it will still grow out from the root. So that broken part will stay broken forever. So there you can see that this elephant's tusk on the so looking at him on the left, but his right tusk is broken off, and I mean that could be from anything like fighting with another male, but also they often do use their tusks as a good tool. So often elephants will ring bark a tree, and so they often will use their tusk to break off the bark to get into the inner cambium layer. And I mean, sometimes that tree can be quite hard, and they break off that tusk, or even at a young age, trying to show off maybe play fighting that can break off. So there's a lot of different ways that it could have broken. David de Wet, so masters, it's got to do with the elephant's hormones and testosterone levels. So they come into must when it's basically heightened testosterone. And so must doesn't happen every month. Must might happen 2 or 3 times a year, just depending. Also, it depends on the amount of females that are in estrus. So the more females that are on estrus, the more amount of times that that elephant might go into must. So it really just depends on specific areas and specific herds and things like that. Hey, Forty, you've never seen a broken tusk before. I mean, you do see elephants with broken tusk, but it's often not the whole tusk. So if you look at an elephant in the distance, you might not notice it, but it's only because we've got this beautiful technology that we're able to zoom in quite a lot and look at all the different features of these elephants that you are able to see that broken tusk. That elephant also could spend quite a lot of time there just resting underneath the tree. Elephants will often feed through the cooler parts of the day. So often early mornings, late afternoons, they'll often be moving around quite a lot feeding. But during the heat of the day, they might just rest. Thomas, it is quite amazing if you're not looking for something specific that you can just miss an elephant. Even being that massive size, it's crazy how you are able to miss them. And I mean, you must think about it. Being on a game drive, also, I always think to myself after a day out in the bush, you think about how many animals you've actually missed. I mean, the amount of animals you've seen, incredible, but there's always something that you've missed. I mean, you might turn a corner and you might not see a leopard. You might drive on, and 1 minute later, another ranger will drive down the exact same road and find a leopard. So the bush is amazing. I mean, you got to be knowledgeable about the bush, and in order to find different animals, different times of the day, where they might be spending time. But there is also definitely a bit of luck that's involved out in the bush.
Good afternoon and welcome to WildEarth's Bush Hub here in the Western Kruger. My name is James Henry, Gerrit is on camera, and over the next 30 minutes we're going to look at the highlights that took place in the field over the last 24 hours. We'll have a look at yesterday afternoon's sunset safari, this morning's sunrise safari, with an eye to planning this afternoon's activities in the field. This is On Safari.
Hundred, 300 meters away, and he would run towards us already. And so the reserve management decided, no, we need to dart this elephant and see what was going on. And he actually had an abscess in his mouth from where the tusk had broken. And there was small little bits of tusk that was still in there. And he was just getting quite agitated with that. So they actually had to call in a special vet to do the surgery, but they actually removed the whole tusk from his face, and then they were able to clean it out, give all the different antibiotics and things like that, and he made a full recovery, which is quite incredible. So this is just a reminder to everybody that this is a live and interactive show. So please keep your comments and questions coming through. You can join the conversation on X using the hashtag WildEarth, or you can subscribe on our website, the WildEarth website. One thing I really do love about the show is answering all your questions that you have for me. It's the beauty of it is that no matter where you are in the world, you can interact live with myself. Definitely be asking me about birding in South Africa, which is the best part of South Africa where I've done birding myself. To be honest with you, Daphne, I would have to say Northern KwaZulu-Natal. Um, that area is just so incredible for birding. I mean, there's lots of different habitats, so you get lots of different or a lot of variety of different species. I mean, there's grasslands, there's wetlands, there's sand forest, which is a ancient habitat where you get specific special birds. There's woodlands, there's lala palm faults, there's big open estuaries, the ocean's close by. So I'll definitely have to say Northern KwaZulu-Natal, all the way from like St. Lucia, all the way further north up towards the Cozy Bay area. That area is probably my favorite for birding. Hey, Forty, you would love to see some giraffes today. I would also love to see some giraffes. Um, the two places that we often do see giraffes is Ukuguyu and Oldonyo in Kenya. So hopefully at some point we will be able to see those giraffes for you.
We all know the struggle of finding the perfect gift. But what if you could give them an unforgettable experience? Something truly extraordinary. Introducing Nature Eye. Fly a real drone remotely at iconic locations, witnessing the beauty of nature like never before. Sign up to be an explorer and you could win one of these experiences yourself. Visit natureeye.com today.
Always so nice and peaceful to just watch elephants in their natural habitats with no disturbances, just enjoying a drink and having the privilege of listening to all this sounds of nature. See how that elephant's now lifting his trunk up, smelling in that direction. So I might have just picked up the sense of something off in the distance and just wanted to try and make sure what it is or why it's coming in that way, just to make sure that might not be a potential threat to this elephant. You can only imagine how good their sense of smell is. That elephant's still standing in the shade there, under that tree, just relaxing. I'm sure, like I was saying a little bit earlier, that he's just taking the weight off his feet by leaning up against that tree or giving himself a nice little scratch. And you're asking, do they have sensors all the way up their trunk? So, I mean, their trunk is lots of different muscles all put together. So they'll definitely have feeling throughout their whole trunk, but I don't think they have sensors all the way up their trunk. Hear the zebra calling off in the distance. So I mean, they will be able to feel and things like that, but the only way they're going to be able to smell is through their trunk. So they're going to often, what happens is they'll often like take a breath with the trunk and then put their trunk in their mouth and blow that air into their mouth to then process what they have been smelling. These two are sort of just sparring with one another. You can see it's nothing too territorial. I think they're just playing around with one another, and it seems like that younger one doesn't really want to be involved too much. I think that smaller one wanted the shade, because it seems like that's exactly where he's going. And you'll often see animals sparring with one another. So, I mean, I've often seen it with giraffes, where giraffes will often neck with one another at a younger age, and it's just to practice. And it's nothing too serious. They'll often almost go like one for one, where one will hit with his neck and then the next one will hit, and then vice versa, just like that. And it's just to practice for one day when they are going to have to fight for females in a herd to mate with them. But at a younger age, it's just to learn. Maybe he's decided to come and cool himself down a little bit more. You can see he's given himself a mud bath. Nice little protective layer from the sun. Also to try and get rid of those parasites. Can see quite a lot of fold in the back of this elephant's ears. And often, as elephants get a little bit older, the cartilage in the backs of their ears almost start to wear down a little bit. You can see it's quite a big fold on this elephant. Those birds calling in the background are red-faced mouse birds, almost that little whistle. Something similar to that. If you have been watching a while on Live at the Waterhole, my mimicking of different bird calls and animal calls isn't the greatest. I have tried my best numerous times, but I need to learn a little bit more, I think. There are some people that are just incredible at mimicking different birds and alarm calls and things like that. So it is coming up to that time now where we are able to introduce Africams. And Africams has allowed us to go to a lot of their different locations throughout Southern Africa. So thank you once again, Africams, for opening up all your locations to WildEarth and coming on board.